this is Rita El Khoury from Android Authority, and I'm here with Primož and Domen from Chipolo. And we're gonna talk about the Chipolo Bluetooth trackers, Google's Find My Device network, and the little delays and everything that's happening in between. So guys, can you start a little bit by introducing yourself and telling us a little bit more about Chipolo as a company and what you're doing?
Yeah, I'm Primož, CEO and co-founder of Chipolo.
Hi, I'm Domen, also one of the co-founders, doing this for 10 years now. I'm the CDO, so taking care of the design product part. So yeah, like I already mentioned, it's 10 years now. We have our 10th anniversary this year, so we've been along for quite a long time. Providing Bluetooth finding solutions for everyone. I just wanted to say that, yeah, we're proud that we are where we are, and it's been a pleasure all these 10 years. We actually started by helping out a friend. That's how it all started. It was just an idea that just came to life, and we found out that there are numerous people around the world, and really happy to be helping out.
So you guys announced the 1 point and the card point for Google's Find My Device network back in May at Google I/O or around Google I/O. Can you tell us a little bit more about these two trackers? Can you tell us about working with Google, how easy it was to implement Google's Find My Device network, and how long did development take? Have you been working on these for a long period of time, or was it relatively easy?
So we started, as Domen mentioned, 10 years ago with Bluetooth tracker. We built our own app, we built our own ecosystem, and then nothing dramatically changed basically in the category until basically Apple announced their ecosystem and the service. And as you already said, also Google basically did a similar thing this May. So yeah, implementing Find My Device, basically ecosystem. Unfortunately, we cannot share many of the details. You probably understand there are NDAs behind. But what we can say that of course it was a pleasure basically working with Google on this matter, similar as we did basically with Apple. It took relatively quite long. It took more than 2 years, I would say. Of course, the service has been developed through this time, and yeah, now finally, basically, the service has been basically announced during the Google I/O, basically in May.
And can you tell us a little bit about the trackers, the differences between them, and like what they do? What do you recommend people use them for?
So the trackers basically are similar to the trackers which we already have in portfolio. So this is like Spotline. But the main difference are basically they will be working inside the Google ecosystem. If we compare basically the Google ecosystem and the Chipolo one, so the main difference is basically that there will be a huge community search behind. What that exactly means, that other users will update basically the location of those misplaced, I would say, or lost items. And this is basically I would say the bigger difference between the trackers which exist before and the trackers which are now coming on the market.
Like, we know that the trackers were announced in May and they were supposed to ship in mid-July, but they didn't. We're in the beginning of September now, and supposedly I think they were gonna come by the end of summer, which is coming soon. Can you talk a little bit about this delay? I know that you cannot reveal way too much, but can you tell us a little bit more about the delay and what this means, and if there's any other expected release date at this point or not?
It's a bummer that things do get delayed in this field. We're sure that our customers are not very satisfied with that. To be honest, we are not satisfied as well. I cannot talk for other companies, but I know I can assume that all the parties involved in this are not super happy about this. But we totally understand that when it comes to big changes in networks, big changes in technologies, which this definitely is, that there are delays, that delays do happen. So yeah, of course, we are helping as much as we can with all the parties involved to make this as fast as possible. So yeah, not very super happy about the delay, but we understand privacy and security in such a standard that will probably be here forever, needs to be well thought through, and yeah, that's just the way it is now. Probably if you are reading GitHub or similar stories, you probably notice that there are things going on. So you probably seen that there is an update about this coming in September. So let's just all wait until the end of the month and we'll definitely see something new.
You guys are in sort of a privileged position because you have a behind the scenes look at both Apple's Find My network and Google's Find My device network. From your perspective, what do you think are the strengths of these networks and the differences between them? Do you see any different ways of implementing things on Google's end or on Apple's end? Any privacy or security differences between the two or usability features between the two? What can you guys tell us about that?
The technical specifications are not yet public, so cannot go into the technical details. But in terms of Chipolo has always been a company that has kind of put our customers, our users in front. So everything that we do, everything that we're looking at, we are looking through the eyes of the customer. So for the eyes of the customer, I can say that there are practically close to zero differences between the networks. Of course, in technical sense, there are certain differences, but looking at the consumer perspective, it's just a very cool way of knowing where your stuff is. It's updated. The location is updated very frequently. So everything is very similar. There are technical differences. There are different protocols, stuff like that, of course, to different companies. But either way, the end result, 90% the same.
Are you guys participating a little bit in helping Google and Apple improve their standards based on your experience with regular Bluetooth trackers, or do they just develop the thing and give it to you? Do you have any? Can you Is there any feedback? Are they taking any feedback from third parties, or are they just doing the thing on their own?
Like you said, we are lucky enough to be working with both major players here. So yeah, of course we are sending in feedback. All the time. We are an advisory, I can say, in a way here. And the other thing that is going on, so I don't know if you know, so the how's it called, the Internet IFTA, so the task force. So it's a standardization organization that actually helped build HTTP and all that stuff. So we are a part of that as well. So alongside Google and Apple, and also some other parties, and we are proud and glad that we can contribute when it comes to developing the standard for this, let's say, tracking in a way, and especially helping the security issues in terms of unwanted tracking protection.
With Google and Apple now starting to take the lion's share of the Bluetooth tracker market in general, where do you see your own Chipolo's trackers falling in the future? Do you think they offer something that's missing from Apple and Google standards, or do you think there's a future where separate Bluetooth trackers can coexist with Apple and Google's ecosystems, or eventually will everything just be either compatible with Google or compatible with Apple?
So Chipolo is trying, of course, to deliver the best product for the end consumer. And that actually means that, of course, we are willing to have the ecosystem as clean and as simple as possible. Therefore, our idea and wish, of course, is to have a simple product line where both ecosystem would be at the same product. Of course, it will not happen that they will be working in parallel, but at least you will not need to have three or two different basically product lines which we currently have. So that will be definitely what we are long term seeing, that it could be a next step, and we will go on it.
Currently, in the way things are set up, what would you say are the biggest advantages of getting like a third-party Bluetooth tracker, something like a Chipolo that works with your own app and that doesn't talk to Google's and Apple's ecosystems? Are there like any features that you've implemented that aren't there yet with Apple or Google's setup?
Honestly speaking, so our regular portfolio, so which is on the market from the beginning, of course, constantly improved, is taking care of 95% of usage. So that portfolio you can share between the platform. So that means that if inside one family you're having iOS user and Android user, they can very easily share one keys between two users. You can find your phone with pressing basically a Chipolo. So double press Chipolo and the phone is start ringing. And what we are seeing based on statistics, in 99% and even higher is this number, people are misplacing basically those items around the environment where they are basically every day. So which means that regular portfolio works perfectly basically, and you can very easily of course find it. Of course with Apple and Google, the biggest advantage is that you are also getting this basically network which update basically the location.
There are also, first of all, our regular line. So without the huge networks, what we know is, like pretty much already mentioned, it's more or less used in the house. So it's like children's toys, and so stuff like that inside the house. And what we also have seen is that of course there are a number of people that do not want to be a part of a network, since they have a feeling that they are being somehow monitored. And those people actually prefer to keep everything local. So just saying, hey, I just want to know. For me, it's okay if I just get a reminder when I leave it behind. That covers 99% of me, and I'd rather have that than being a part of a network. That's one of the things that normal Bluetooth trackers will exist. And I just have to add that in our core line, we've been doing this for 10 years. So our out of range certifications, we've been working very hard on those. We also have it patented. So our out of ranges are kind of more advanced. We've worked really hard to notify the user when something is left behind without false alerts. So that's the thing why we believe. So to be honest, we kind of call our core line reminders. So they're not trackers, they're reminders, more or less.
That reminds me a little bit of the smart locks I have on my door, where if I just like walk away a little bit, it tells me that the door is not locked, and I don't have to be very, very far away. And I also don't want to get the notification when I'm inside the house, which obviously would be counterproductive. Just as a final question, we talked a little bit about security and privacy. Google's rolling out the unknown tracker alerts, and Apple is supposedly going to roll those out as well. Do you think like this solves most of the problems we have with security and privacy with Bluetooth trackers, or are there still issues and problems that will need to be solved in the future, but maybe they're not as crucial as this, unknown trackers following you around?
I think what they are doing is definitely the right way, and we believe that it will solve majority of those, let's say, unwanted situations. Honestly speaking, before this category, the GPS trackers based on the cellular data, basically transaction, right, of the signal already exist. So if you wanted to track somebody, you can also do that with other technologies which they are much more precise. So that already exists, but now when those big players basically joined this game, that became a potential issue. But I think that Apple and Google is trying to build a really great basically system to prevent such a thing. And they are doing, they invested a lot of their energy basically on that, and bring the best service at the end for the end consumer and try to keep them, of course, secure and safe.
Thank you for talking to us, guys. All right, bye-bye.
Thank you, Rita.
Thanks,
Take
Rita.
care.
Bye.